everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV, continuing to pound the pavement and hunt down floor plans we've never had the chance to share before in this channel, and today is one of those, the 1900 RD Bullet Crossfire. But what this one gives us is at least the sense of a bigger living space in a smaller, more easily towable package. But what's really kind of deceptive on this one is it's still a full 8 foot wide with a standard interior height of 6.5 feet. And that allows for just really, really big window coverage on this one right here, while still giving us a pseudo-private front bed area. It's not truly private, it's not truly enclosed, but because it's kind of closed off, it still kind of has that feeling. And what's really cool on this camper, this could work for a couple. It could work, I think, really well as a solo RV, just you and the old dog running around, or you and a cat or a lizard. I don't know your life. A lot of different pet owners with different kinds of pets out there. A bearded dragon, for instance. Single parents, you've got, or just if you're looking for buddy camping, you've got like a big bonus bed in the back of this thing because it is a full 8 foot wide. You've got a adult size extra sleeper in the back there with storage pretty much all the way under. Maybe I gotta double check, I gotta open it up, but pretty much all the way. Roof is walkable, the belly is enclosed, which is really nice here. And a bunch of other little things like a portable solar plug. It is prepped for solar up on the roof if you want to add that, you know, that is available there. But the idea behind this one is that it gives us the floor plan of a tandem axle, more expensive, heavier camper in a lighter weight, less expensive single axle with aluminum framework instead of just a stick built. Some people that really means a lot. It's got good things, it's got bad things. We're gonna hit on both, and if you appreciate that fair way of looking at stuff, hit that subscribe button, and let's get going. And what's kind of funny, for the most part, until we get up to the front sleeping area, when you step inside this thing, it is very, very similar to like a Cherokee Grey Wolf 20 RD SE layout. Not terribly dissimilar from a J-Flight 210 QB, something like that, where you've got kind of the middle bathroom and kitchen, and then the rear living section here, where this one, because it is built to be smaller, lighter, less money, they do go with a front corner bed that's a short queen mattress that is going to be a deal breaker for some folks. I get that. But in the meantime, and if that's a deal breaker, that's fine. I mean, I don't fault you for that. But in the meantime, I want to look at the other stuff that this does has, such as crazy window coverage. Because that's really the point of this little camper, is to make us feel like we're not in a little camper. So when you open this up, like, you might notice how everything looks like it color changes when the natural light kind of bleeds through. A little bit of light pollution comes in here. The cabinetry, it has definitely more of a gray tone, but during the daytime, it almost takes on a little bit of a blue hue, but it is gray. It's the blue sky actually reflecting off of it that you're seeing right there. And all these windows open for airflow. The only window in this that does not open for airflow is the window in the front entry door. And kind of like I've done here, nothing says you have to always have this as a dinette. You can get those out of the way. And if you don't like the knee knocker pedestal posts, that's just 6 screws for each mount. You could take those out of there. It's really not going to leave a whole lot of any signature in the floor. You could use the existing tabletop, slap on a set of free-floating folding legs. Now, I don't like the elliptical base ones because they're still a knee knocker and they're heavy. I like the very lightweight, almost ironing board style legs. For me, those things work really, really well. I really like what those do right there. It's not a centralized area in it, but if you think about it, other than the bathroom, there's, you know, not anything else that you necessarily need to worry about. So all of our air is going to basically come from right here. It's not thermostatic. That's why our controls everything are right there. Let me, I'm actually going to pop a squat, technical term, over here on this dinette. Now, they use a pretty standardized dinette. It's what I call a true U dinette. It's like 7 foot long, but remember, this is an 8 foot wide camper. So that means that you have that extra pocket of space there. Normally, a 7 foot wide RV with this kind of floor plan just wouldn't have that. So that's a really good representation of how much extra space you're getting. So if you look at that, things like this big either pantry or closet, you'll see that it's convertible, or our big refrigerator over here, they're farther out of the way, which gives this model 1 foot of extra walking space here than almost anything else like it. The cabinet's really looking blue right there. But again, they are gray. Now, the thing here is to remember that, you know, this is a simpler, a little more basic camper, but they do some things that are pretty nice. like, they do have plenty of outlet locations, and if you notice, a lot of the outlets have those yellow stickers telling us that they are inverter prepped, which I like. But one of the things I like to do is I like to look at these things as though I were the one buying them. And it just, I hate it when I see raw, exposed cuts on cabinetry like that. Most people would never notice that when they're shopping, but I'm a professional looker-atter of campers, and I look at that stuff. Although, it does give us a very easy look at the fact that this is pocket-screwed lumber core cabinetry. It actually does have a real wood core in there. Now, you might notice there's not power outlets in the side walls. That's because it's an 1.5 inch thick, lightweight, laminated wall. The walls really aren't thick enough to put outlets in unless you surface mount them, and it's kind of a pain. It's rarely anyone's preference. Down below here, below the fridge, you do have your furnace. You also have, to the left of that, your converter and another set of household outlets right over here. So maybe you could use that kind of shelf behind the dinette like a charging station. Now, you might look at that and wonder, is that wasted space back there? And it's not. It's actually an outside storage pocket. Cracking this thing open right here, you do have a 12-volt compressor fridge. That's one of the 10-plus cubic foot varieties right there. So it's travel-friendly, and it's big cold storage. It's almost twice what this floor plan used to have when it first came out, which was a 6 cubic foot gas electric. So it's about 4 to 5 times faster cooling and almost nearly double the capacity. That is nothing to necessarily sneeze at. And if you're sneezing at a fridge, you probably have some kind of weird allergy. You should get that checked out. The maximized windows means that you do lose a bit of storage, but the little bit bigger body on this one allows them to compensate for it in different ways, in the same way the guys compensate for a lack of things. Down below the dinette, moving on without a lot of transitional material, you can see it is full storage down there. What that presents some interesting opportunities, because it's obviously not easy access storage. But if you wanted to, like, put a pet door or something in there or modify that in some way, it's kind of just like, it's an easy DIY kind of territory to do some of those things. By the way, one of the other things to look at when you're looking at pocket screwed cabinetry versus stapled styles and fasteners, if these boards were gapped a little bit, if you staple it, well, they're going to stay gappy and bad. But if these two boards were not perfectly in sync with one another, when you screw it together, it pulls them together. That's one of the reasons that pocket screwed cabinetry tends to just look better. The funny thing is, stapled cabinet fasteners, the cabinets really don't tend to fall apart. They just don't usually look as good. Now, something I want to point out here is that through this entire camper, they are using T-molded countertops. And I haven't seen fully T-molded countertops in an RV, to my knowledge, in quite some time. So that might be one of those things that maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe you feel a certain way about it, maybe you don't, but these are the kind of bits of information I want to give you in case you weren't intimately familiar. Now you look at that, and I like that they include a TV, but it doesn't look like it's a great angle. Well, thankfully, it can pivot and turn a little bit if you want it to. And the only knock I'm going to give them here in the kitchen is just that they didn't give us a space for a wastebasket. They gave us crazy good shelf space under the countertop. Hold on, I just noticed another thing. Okay, I'm going to knock them for two things. One, they didn't give us a spot for a wastebasket. Two, we have absolutely no drawers in here. And I hope you appreciate that I point out what I feel is good and bad. Maybe you feel differently. Like, this RV does not have an oven, nor is it available with an optional oven. This is not an oven camper. They just don't do that. So, that might be a problem for you. I don't personally lament the lack of oven myself. I'm okay with it. But I know some people, man, no oven, no sale. I get it. So I want to point that out there. A little bit of a peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door going on there. And it's not so much the smells that most people worry about. It's the hearing of the events happening in the bathroom as well. Now, this is a short queen bed. And because they brought this hanging wardrobe tower down pretty far, it is only a short queen bed till death do us part. I don't really see, without doing some serious DIY modifications, that you're going to overcome that. Again, I know that's a problem for some people, so I pointed out here. I hope you appreciate that. Now, the slide system in this RV, well, it doesn't exist. And one, again, little nitpick. I don't even know how well it shows up on camera, but I kind of want, like, a light in the ceiling right there. There's just kind of a dark little corner. That's just one of those things that sort of, it just hits me. By the way, obviously you've seen the tabletop over here that, you know, I peeled off the dinette. That's where that's located. Now, you've got a nice chunk of storage going on above the bed right here. But if you notice, those overhead cabinets, they are gravity closies. You know, as soon as you let go of it, it's gonna wham bam thank you ma'am right against the cabinet style there. It is a nice magnet holdback, which I do like. Those are just, they tend to give me, I think it feels like just cleaner execution. And you got a little bit of an interior footlocker storage there. The bed is not like gas strut easy lift though. So that is kind of like what I did there is I lifted up the mattress and then I wedged the bed deck under it a little bit to kind of hold it in place. What do you think about this? The kitchen doesn't have a wastebasket space, but right behind us in the bathroom, we kind of do. Do you think that counts? Could you deal with that? Is that okay? Or is that like, nah, I don't like that idea? Because, you know, I could see it either way. Toilet space, if you take a listen, it's a bit tight. I may have gotten a little bit claustrophobic there. Anyway, I do appreciate the cutaway over here, because the thing is, if you notice when I was banging my elbow against the thing, I was sitting straight up. I'm not trying to be gross about this, but when we are employing the use of the butt napkins, most of us tend to lean. Most of us are right-handed. Most of us tend to lean to the left side. So it may actually not be that bad in actual practical application. It probably is going to be very unfriendly to lefties, though. This, I think, is actually really smart execution. If you're going to be price sensitive, including the powered vent fan as the skylight above the shower is kind of a 2-for-1 wombo combo. It's a little bit smaller than a skylight. And if you're a little bit over 6 foot like me, this is 6.5 foot tall to the sidewall, my head's up in the shower. But hey, I can make that work, you know. And it is a like a little mini step-in shower. By the way, here's a little pro tip for you. Where the shower pan meets the shower walls, you actually should not be sealing that. What you don't realize is that this shower pan has a fin that goes up like 6 inches back here. If you seal that up, God forbid any sort of water gets past the top seal up here, you've trapped it in the walls and it can no longer bleed out. So, little pro tip there from Uncle Josh. And the crazy thing is, because these things aren't loaded up with all the extra widgets, gidgets, and whiz-bangs, they are deceptively lightweight. This trailer right here, empty, weighing, the one I'm looking at anyway, was scaled out to just under 3,700 pounds, which leaves over 1,200 pounds of cargo capacity, which is not terrible on a little single-axle camper like this. And the reason this is kind of surprising is those are the weights that you often find in a 7-foot wide camper, sometimes with a reduced ceiling height, and this thing's 8 foot wide with a traditional ceiling. So how are they accomplishing that? A lot of use of aluminum framing, a lot of use of lamination, and their HyperDeck flooring system peels a lot of weight of the RV by basically, you know, getting to a no wood, you know, floor product. Now, I try to share good with the bad, and I hope you appreciate the candid, you know, transparency. The awning space on this is not terrific, but it's a small camper. There's only so much they can do, but because they focused on windows and stuff, they did not have the opportunity for a, you know, a really big awning on this one. Something I do like is, while our baggage doors are not slam latches, they do have the self-clasping magnet holdbacks. So you don't got to worry about this thing dropping on you. Once it's up, it's up. So first of all, it magnets in place, and then it pin locks in place. And really, other than the roof, pretty much everything in this is aluminum framed. And as we've teleported over here to this side, if we look over to the left, you'll see that's the location where if you want to add an inverter, if you want to add the solar charge controller and make a package out of it, that's where you would accomplish those things. Now we're talking about aluminum framework. What about the chassis framework? This is an RV that does not ride on a Lippert chassis. This is made by Norco. That's definitely the exception to the rule out there. It's more of like a huck-bolted aircraft style sort of frame. The idea behind it is that allegedly it's lighter but stronger. Now, I say allegedly because I've never seen any sort of independent chassis strength testing, but that's what I've been told. But the funny thing is, everybody who builds a chassis says theirs is the strongest. So, who's right? I don't know. I just know That's the story, Morning Glory. We are a single-headed sewer monster, so you have but one single crap cap on this one, right, chow? You don't got to do the poop, scoop, boogie, walk of shame between two different hookups. Backing up here, you might notice no rear bumper. But one of the cool things is they actually build in a sewer hose caddy tube. Look at the bottom left corner of that rear wall. I know it's black on black, but if you look pretty closely here, what you actually see is they build the sewer hose tube kind of like right against the chassis, but it sort of looks a little more integrated into the RV. Oh, that's a nice touch. You know, they didn't have to put a light in that compartment over there, but that was kind of a cool touch right there. Now, it is prepped for a rear ladder. You don't see one of those like telescopic ladder mounts on this one because it's actually prepped for a normal climb up the ladder kind of ladder. So it does actually have that structure in the wall. If that's something you want on your Bullet, give us a call. We can obviously apply a ladder to this RV and have it be not an issue. And you may have also noticed how the underbelly is enclosed, and thankfully, all these big windows, they are UV tinted and they do open for airflow, so you have a little more control over privacy, heat, and well, just anything really. So once again, the Bullet Crossfire series, this is their smallest, simplest, most basic kind of thing they make. They start at single axles. The Crossfire series actually does go up to tandem axle models. If you watch the background, you're actually right there going to see one come into view. But then you move up into like the more traditional, you know, what do they call it? Bullet, super light, ultra light, I don't know. Every manufacturer's got their names for it. But this is what we just saw as the basis of the family. It only gets bigger, it only gets flashier and more fun from here. So if you want to see what else we may have to offer, make sure you click that subscribe button, catch us on the next one. In the meantime, I don't know if you're noticing here, but I got a lot of bullets in the clip I need to get fired off, pun intended. So check the links in the video description for pricing and availability. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.